Focus. Ideate. Innovate. Enable.
Ujjivan started its journey as a non-banking financial company in 2005 with a mission to provide financial services to the underserved customers, taking private banking beyond the classes. Their ambition to be the most respected microfinancing organization in India.
Ujjivan was set up to provide financial services to the unserved and underserved. And when Small Finance Bank licenses were given out, the mandate was to serve the unserved and underserved. So there is a complete congruence of both the mandate given by RBI and our mission, and we intend to stick to that mission. All our business strategy, plans, etc., the market research we have done, our target customer base, it is the unserved and underserved only.
Bulk of the people in India and many countries, almost all the countries in the world, people have no access to financial services. So this brings the financial services to the people. And while I applaud the decision by the government of India and applaud Ujjivan to upgrade itself into a full banking operation in a limited service provider, but at the same time remind everybody, still there are millions and millions left out. We have to do much better than just giving few licenses. We have to address it very quickly because time is running out and people have the capacity to do things. Simply financial institutions are not reaching out. We need a new type of banking like the way Ujjivan is coming up. We need a full legislation for that so that those kind of banks can be created everywhere.
Ujjivan Small Finance Bank was established with a mission to aid the development of financially unserved population. The bank aims to revolutionize the microfinance sector with the launch of 5 pilot branches in Bengaluru. The launch event was graced by dignitaries like Professor Mohammad Yunus, Chairman of Yunus Center and founder of Grameen Bank, Mary Ellen, President and CEO of Women's World Banking, Bishwamohan Mahapatra, former Executive Director, Reserve Bank of India, Rajiv Lal, MD and CEO, IDFC Bank, Vijay Mahajan, founder and chairman, Basics Group, and Sharad Sharma, co-founder and governing council member, Ispirit.
Welcome to the launch of the Ujjivan Small Finance Bank. We are here today to celebrate 2 things. An entrepreneurial energy which started about 11 years ago, which perhaps has achieved its ambition, and an institutional journey, not in the worst sense of that word, but in the best sense, that is articulating a new ambition.
The launch event began with Ujjivan's chairman, Mr. K.R. Ramamurthy's welcome address.
For us in Ujjivan, this is a great momentous occasion. Our aspiration to become a bank and fulfill our ambition of being a full-fledged financial service provider is coming to fruition today. Today, Ujjivan has emerged as the largest MFI in the country in terms of geographical spread, with a pan-India presence through 470 branches, 24 states and 209 districts, with a loan book outstanding of over 6,500 crores, serving 37 lakhs of customers. We have not swerved from our mission and are totally dedicated to serve the financially disadvantaged. Ujjivan prides on being a customer and employee-centric organization. With the 9,000 plus workforce, we are also proud to share with you that for the past 5 consecutive years, Ujjivan has been ranked consistently among the top 25 companies to work in India. We need your good wishes and support on our onward journey in Ujjivan to emerge as a financially sustainable bank dedicated to the cause of the poor. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
If I can request Nobel laureate, former head of the Grameen Bank, Professor Yunus, and Shamit Ghosh to come on stage and launch the Ujjivan Small Finance Bank.
Welcome to our branch of Ujjivan Small Finance Bank.
The bank has commenced operations with 5 pilot branches in Bangalore, which provide basic financial services.
When Sumit came to Bangladesh and trying to see what we are doing, I had no idea that Sumit really will go into it. There are many people who visit, many people who see things. Some do it, some, for one reason or another, cannot make it. But Sumit got into it. And it's a very uncertain world that he got into. He had no idea, like many microfinance organizations who made a beginning, what the outcome would be finally. Today, what we are hearing, starting the journey in 2005, by 2017, there are 3.5 million borrowers and nearly 10,000 staff working for them. That's a fantastic journey. Why should anybody think of becoming a bank after that? You'll be wondering, you have done it already. Look at all these beautiful microfinance organizations coming up. Why didn't you give them the banking license? Very easy step to take. And give them a limited banking license so that they stay where they are. So I'm very happy that Government of India has taken the decision. I applauded them many times for this. And RBI has gone ahead to give that. And Ujjivan applied for it today. They turn into a small finance bank.
Following the launch, Ujjivan Small Finance Bank conducted a panel discussion. The topic for the discussion was Vision of Small Finance Bank for Financial Inclusion in India.
So we'll start with Mr. Mahapatra. Two things we would like to hear from you. Why did you and the RBI feel the need for actually creating, despite all the other regulations for priority sector lending, et cetera, the need to actually create a separate regulatory space for new animals, and what did you then expect these new spirits to contribute to the financial landscape?
The lexicon financial inclusion probably wasn't there in RBI's dictionary till 2004 or 5. We thought of allowing a new type of bank. We call it differentiated bank. There's nothing called differentiated, or the word differentiated is not defined in the banking law in India. It is RBI's own creation. Out of the same law which governs the normal banks, a new bank will be created which will be slightly differentiated, a niche which will play to the niche market, and they will be strengthened. They are now handicapped from the liability side. They used to borrow from the market or from the banks to support their lending, and maybe at a higher cost, 24, 25, 26%. And that was not financial inclusion in the true sense of the term. How to make the cost of credit lower by allowing them to take deposits, which RBI is very averse to for any other institution other than a bank. So the idea of a small bank, small finance bank was thought of. The initial draft spoke about small bank. I mean, it was slightly bigger than the local area bank in a few contiguous districts, in a few homogeneous states. But by the time we realized that many of the big players, they have become pan-India. And if you confine them to a small local geography, probably we won't serve the purpose. So we allowed them bigger area, but the finance they give will be small now. So the small converts two things: loan to small people and in small dosages, loans in small dosages. So both the small should satisfy, and I was not surprised when RBI gave 11 licenses, 11 approvals, of which 8 were MFIs, and one is a local area bank, which is already a bank, and one is NBFC.
Every revolution has rough and tumble, and every revolution could have a dark side. What is your concern as a pioneer and nurturer of gender balance in financial markets?
India has done so much right when you look at the international context. The Aadhaar system has eliminated the issues of identification which plague so many other emerging markets as they try to address financial inclusion. The point of interoperability, the system works across the board. Many, many other countries have come 3/4 of the way but have yet to solve that problem. But I guess when I do experience some concerns, it's in relation to a couple of things. One is, remember what the initial reason for expanding the remit of the microfinance bank was. It was to allow savings deposits. And who are the savers in the household? They are by and large women. And one of the concerns that we at Women's World Banking have when we look at financial inclusion is, how are women and men going to be able to share this extraordinary opportunity equally? We saw, as I'm sure everyone in this room knows, a tremendous increase in account penetration here in India between 2011 and 2014, which is unfortunately the best data that we have, where we saw account penetration go to 53%. But unfortunately, what you also saw is the gap between men's and women's financial inclusion increase from 17% to 20%, precisely because women either didn't have access to the technology, and that gap between Aadhaar registrants and mobile phone ownership is largely comprised of women. But it's not just that a lack of access, but a lack of understanding and a lack of awareness of how to use that technology and exploit that technology to its best purposes. Ujjivan is holding on to its tremendous commitment to financial literacy and bringing that into digital literacy as well, so that women can play as great a part of the financial inclusion story in India as they can in generating the tremendous economic and inclusive economic growth that this country is capable of.
So I think you make a very important point. Shamit, it's been one heck of a journey, still many miles to go. Just share with us what's going through your heart and mind.
What we see is that in our journey now, as we start the small finance bank journey, it is uncharted waters. We have to learn. We've done, as I mentioned, done a lot of research, we've used a lot of technology and a lot of stuff, some of the stuff which you saw here, but we don't know whether it's going to succeed. It's going to be a hit and miss, and we're going to learn, as we go along. But our objective at the end of 5 years is that the Reserve Bank also permits us to apply for a universal bank license. But what we would really like to do, and where we see is a huge gap still so many years down the road, is in the mass market retail bank, And I hope that after 5 years, we become a leading mass market retail bank in India. So that's our vision.
You have made the most extraordinary contribution by using financial inclusion to catalyze social change. That, I think, in my lifetime, never seen it anywhere else, like you have been able to guide and lead that process. So when you look at Ujjivan, what would your advice be, basis your experience of graduating from, when you got to Grameen 2, from just being a lender to engaging much more broadly with the community?
Financial services is the oxygen of the economy. So bulk mass of the people can't breathe that oxygen. So economically, they are dead. It's not about democratization. It's about survival. So if you think this is a financial service is the oxygen of the economy, and I'm not entitled to that, I cannot get in, So economically, I'm dead. The second one, which worries me in recent years, is about the wealth concentration. All the wealth of the world is concentrated in few hands. And we have been hearing about it year after year. Last year, we were told there are 62 people in the whole world own more than half the wealth of the world. This year, we are told it's 8 people in the whole world. The third point I wanted to make is about the ownership of the whole thing that we do. And this is one we have done right from the beginning, making the borrowers the owners of the bank so that it doesn't go outside. This is completely inside. All the controversies came, high interest rate and everything, because somebody's taking away our money. And why should anybody else take away our money? We can retain ourselves. So that I will put attention to that part of it. And the fourth point, and I'll stop there, is the second generation, because ours is 40 years now. So we have to look at the young generation who are coming out in the families of Grameen borrowers. And there we are saying that this is a completely redesigning of the system. We said, don't look for jobs, be a job creator rather than the job seeker. That's why I was mentioning it's a mission-driven thing. It's not where you make money, you do the, you solve the problem that you see right now. It has to be solved, otherwise it's going to kill us all.
Sharad, let me turn to you as a techno-evangelist and the spirit behind iSpirit. Give us a sense for the revolution that awaits us.
Today, India is at the threshold of being able to embrace technology democracy in a way that is not possible anywhere else in the world. I only implore that we open our eyes. For 20, 30 years, we were technophobic. We were refusing to believe that technology can change anything on the ground. Technology was for the elite. No, technology is for the people at the bottom of the pyramid.
Vijay, as a mentor to so many of us, you have seen the ups and downs in this industry since its inception. What are your views?
The future of small finance banks is already in some ways being proved, but we need to recognize that getting liability side into it, there's a, I ran both an NBFC and a small local area bank for 14 years. Raising deposits from the public, which is beyond your immediate borrowers, is one hell of a job when you're competing with government banks. And therefore, unless our regulator, first of all, our state needs to decide whether 75% of our banking assets should be in the public sector. We need regulatory revolution first before digital will make any difference.
What we've tried to do in Ujjivan is try to bring technology, and we were investing heavily in technology. So all our services are stacked for these people, in terms of services. One of the positive sides of demonetization, I think, has been, and with the government and everyone pushing for the digital this thing, even though it's like a moving goalpost, I think that's helped us and given us a lot of courage that, especially on the liability side, that this investment in technology and giving technology to the poor people, will succeed.
The very idea of a differentiated bank, I said also in my initial remarks, that there's nothing called a differentiated bank in any law in India as on today. But despite that, a differentiated bank is a reality today. This is a regulatory innovation in the sense that the same law which enables RBI to give license to a bank also enables or also licenses the Ujjivan Small Finance Bank.
Professor Yunus, you have the last word.
Microcredit and microcredit banks, we call ourselves bank, but we are so different in every way. I try to make fun of it by saying that, how we did microcredit, how we did the Grameen Bank? When we need a rule for our bank, how to start, how to do that, we look at the conventional banks, the other type of bank, and when we learn how they do it, we do the opposite. If you keep under the same regulatory authority, sooner or later you will become the same bank that everybody is, which we don't want to be. If you want to create a different kind of banking system, you need a different kind of regulatory authority who understand what it is. They have experienced what it is. They understand the mission of this and see it in that light, not in the light of the conventional banks, what they do, what they want. They bring those their rules and throw at you and gradually pushes you to go into the same way. So that's a danger that we want to avoid.
Thank you all for joining us today on this momentous occasion of the launch of Ujjivan Small Finance Bank. We couldn't have dreamt of a greater inspiring start to Ujjivan Small Finance Bank. Thank you very much.
The universal banks neglected this segment totally, and that's the reason the rationale for the small finance bank. I think originally the intent was the nationalized banks would be able to serve this whole mass market, but because of limitations on their part, whether technology and infrastructure, people, etc., they've not been able to serve this segment. So we are actually not going to sort of barge into someone else's territory. As far as we are concerned, this is a wide open field, and this gives us a big opportunity that in 5 years' time, we expect to set up and be a leading mass market retail bank, which serves this whole segment of the society. There's a very big opportunity there.
Focus. Ideate. Innovate. Enable.